Welcome back to our channel, fellow Genoa City insiders. Today is a truly beautiful day to uncover the shadows lurking behind closed doors. Grab your coffee and lean in close, because we have a secret to share that will completely change everything you thought you knew. Let us dive right into the madness. Did you know that the most dangerous weapons in Genoa City are not guns, corporate takeovers, or blackmail files, but the whispered secrets of the past that refuse to stay buried? We are all completely addicted to the twists and turns of this show, but what is about to happen to the Abbott family is on an entirely different level of psychological terror. Kyle Abbott has been running himself ragged lately, desperately trying to shield his parents, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins, from the chaotic, unpredictable whirlwind that is Patty Williams. Kyle thought he was the ultimate protector. He thought he could handle Patty and her delusions. But something that few people notice is that when you play with a woman whose entire reality is built on a decades-old obsession, you are the one who inevitably ends up getting burned. The scene is set at the local coffee shop, a place usually reserved for casual business meetings, innocent gossip, and the daily routines of Genoa City's elite. But today, the air is thick with a suffocating, almost unbearable tension. Kyle, fueled by a potent mixture of sheer exhaustion and fierce protective rage, finally decides he has had enough of Patty's cryptic comments and relentless harassment. He tracks her down and corners her. He wants to lay down the law. He wants to look her directly in the eyes and demand that she stay away from his fragile family once and for all. But Patty Williams does not play by the rules of ordinary, rational people. As Kyle approaches her, aggressively demanding explanations for her recent bizarre behavior, he has absolutely no idea that he is walking straight into a meticulously laid emotional trap. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. The way Patty looks at Kyle in that exact moment. It is not with fear, and it is certainly not with the respect a CEO might expect. It is with a chilling, manic amusement that makes your blood run cold. When Kyle fiercely demands that she explain her cryptic remarks and back off from Jack, Patty's eyes light up with that familiar, terrifying gleam of madness. She does not cower. She does not retreat. Instead, she leans in closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial, sinister whisper, openly mocking his righteous anger. She tells him that he is so very blind, so wonderfully, tragically naive. She implies that he is fighting a desperate war to protect a family structure that is fundamentally built on a colossal, devastating lie. Imagine the sheer, paralyzing shock coursing through Kyle's veins at that moment. He fully expects Patty to rant about her undying, delusional love for Jack. He expects her to hurl vicious insults at Diane, as she has done so many times before. What he does not expect is for Patty to suddenly pivot the crosshairs directly onto him and his very existence. Patty, with a twisted, knowing smirk playing on her lips, casually lets slip that she knows far more about Kyle's true origins than Jack or Diane have ever dared to reveal. Did you know that a single sentence can completely dismantle a man's entire identity? Patty drops the ultimate bombshell, hinting at a long-buried secret that strikes at the very core of who Kyle Abbott believes himself to be. Something that few people notice is the exact, deliberate phrasing Patty uses in this chilling confrontation. She does not just say Diane is a liar. She does not just throw out a generic insult. She specifically, deliberately mentions a swap sample. Let those two words sink in for a moment. A swap sample. For longtime fans who are as completely addicted to the show as we are, those words trigger a massive tidal wave of historical implications. We all know the legendary, sordid history of how Diane Jenkins acquired Jack's sample from the sperm bank to conceive Kyle, attempting to lock Jack into her life forever through a child. But what if the sample Diane used wasn't what she thought it was? Or, even more terrifying, what if the egg wasn't Diane's? As Patty lets those horrifying words hang in the air, the bustling noise of the coffee shop seems to completely fade away for Kyle. His heart pounds violently against his ribs. A swap sample, Jack. The implications are far too horrifying to process all at once. Patty is directly insinuating that Diane Jenkins might not actually be his biological mother. The woman who has caused so much chaos, the woman he has defended against the entire world, the woman Jack is currently risking his empire to reconcile with, might not even share his blood. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. What if Patty, in her twisted, desperate obsession with Jack all those years ago, secretly intercepted Diane's clinical scheme? Kyle's reaction is a breathtaking masterclass in psychological devastation. He grips the edge of the table, his knuckles turning stark white, as he fiercely interrogates Patty. He demands more information. He raises his voice, the polished, controlled corporate executive facade instantly crumbling to reveal a terrified, desperate son begging for the truth. He wants to know exactly what she means by a swapped sample. He wants to know what Jack supposedly knows, or what Jack is completely, blissfully ignorant of. But Patty is a dark maestro of manipulation. She knows exactly how to play this psychological instrument. She has successfully planted the seed of absolute doubt, and now she is going to sit back and watch the roots tear the Abbott family mansion apart from the inside out. Did you know that the cruelest thing you can possibly do to a person is give them only half a truth? Patty just smirks. It is that eerie, chilling smirk that has haunted the residents of Genoa City for decades, a smile that promises nothing but destruction. She flatly refuses to elaborate. She watches Kyle squirm, thoroughly enjoying the sheer, unadulterated panic radiating from his eyes. She tells him that some secrets are better left buried deep in the ground, but we all know Patty loves nothing more than to dig up graves. She turns on her heel and casually walks out of the coffee shop, leaving Kyle standing there, completely paralyzed by a newfound, agonizing uncertainty. The heavy silence she leaves behind in his mind is louder than any scream. Left entirely alone in the suffocating aftermath of Patty's psychological grenade, Kyle's mind begins to race at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Every single memory, every interaction with Diane from his childhood to the present day is suddenly cast in a sinister, highly questionable light. He thinks about Diane's relentless, almost pathological drive to secure her place in the Abbott family. He thinks about her desperate, clawing need for Jack's validation and the Abbott fortune. If Diane is not his biological mother, then who on earth is? And if Jack was somehow involved in a swapped sample, did Jack know the truth all along? Did Victor Newman have a hand in this? The paranoia begins to set in, wrapping its cold, unforgiving fingers tightly around Kyle's throat. This is exactly the kind of brilliant, twisted storytelling that keeps us glued to our screens, completely addicted to the unraveling of these complex characters. Something that few people notice is how perfectly this horrifying revelation aligns with Patty's own historical trauma. Patty Williams suffered a devastating, traumatic miscarriage decades ago, a child she firmly believed was Jack Abbott's. Her entire tragic descent into madness was catalyzed by the profound loss of Jack's baby and the subsequent betrayal she endured. Is it really so far-fetched to believe that a woman so utterly consumed by the desperate desire to have Jack's child would interfere with Diane's cold, calculated attempt to do the exact same thing? Could Patty have somehow swapped the genetic material in that fertility lab all those years ago? The sheer, staggering scale of this potential deception is mind-boggling, and it fundamentally changes the entire landscape of the show. Kyle quickly realizes that he cannot simply let this go. He cannot unhear the words swap sample. He cannot unsee the absolute, terrifying certainty in Patty's manic eyes. He knows, deep in his gut, that investigating this claim could be the equivalent of detonating a massive bomb in the middle of the Abbott living room. If he pursues this dark path, and if it turns out to be true, it will permanently, irreparably destroy his relationship with Diane. It will shatter Jack, who is already walking a dangerous emotional tightrope. It could alter the entire line of succession at Jabot Cosmetics. But the alternative, living with this gnawing, agonizing, suffocating doubt for the rest of his natural life, is completely impossible. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. Kyle's absolute, unwavering determination to find the truth, no matter the devastating cost. He makes a silent, solemn bow right there in the middle of the coffee shop. He is going to dig into the deepest, darkest, most heavily guarded archives of Genoa City's medical history. He is going to trace the exact origins of that fateful day at the fertility clinic. He is going to connect the hidden dots between Jack's past, Diane's ruthless machinations, and Patty's hidden, shadowy movements. Kyle is stepping out of his father's protective shadow and initiating an investigation that will force absolutely everyone to confront the terrible ghosts they thought they had buried forever. As devoted viewers, we are strapped in for the ride of a lifetime. The dynamic between Kyle and Diane has always been incredibly complex, built on a shaky foundation of childhood abandonment and tentative, hard-won forgiveness. But if that biological tie is suddenly severed, what remains? Will Kyle look at Diane and see nothing but a manipulative stranger who used him as a convenient pawn to secure a billionaire's fortune? And how will Diane react when she realizes that her ultimate trump card, being the mother of Jack's only son, might be a complete, fabricated illusion? The dramatic irony is absolutely exquisite, and it is exactly why we cannot look away for even a single second. Did you know that Jack Abbott is currently trying to use Patty Williams as a weapon against Victor Newman? The sheer, tragic irony of this situation is staggering. Jack genuinely believes he is the one pulling the strings, manipulating Patty's fragile mind to destroy his corporate enemies. He has absolutely no idea that the unpredictable weapon he is wielding has already turned around and fired a lethal, devastating shot directly at his own son. Jack's blinding arrogance, his foolish belief that he can somehow control the uncontrollable force of nature that is Patty, is about to blow up in his face in the most spectacular, tragic way imaginable. When Jack finally finds out what Patty has told Kyle, the emotional fallout will be nothing short of nuclear. Something that few people notice about Kyle is his underlying, unspoken fear of not truly belonging. Growing up with Diane's lingering ghost and Jack's towering, intimidating legacy, Kyle has always fought tooth and nail to prove he is a true Abbott. If Patty's insidious whisper holds even a fraction of the truth, it threatens to strip away the very name that defines his entire existence. Imagine the sheer psychological weight of wondering if the blood of a complete stranger runs through your veins. The coffee shop encounter was not just a simple threat. It was a profound existential crisis delivered with a casual smirk. As we watch Kyle walk out of that coffee shop and into the cold light of day, we know he is a fundamentally changed man, haunted by a secret that will demand to be dragged into the light. We are all completely addicted to this unfolding tragedy. The whispers, the dark secrets, the swap samples, the knowing smirks, it is the very lifeblood of Genoa City. Kyle Abbott is about to embark on a dark, lonely, terrifying journey to discover who he truly is at his core. He is about to question every single drop of blood in his veins and every memory he holds dear. Will he uncover a truth that finally sets him free from Diane's manipulative grasp? Or will he unearth a lie that completely destroys the only family he has ever known? One thing is for absolute certain, Patty Williams has just changed the game forever, and none of the Abbotts will ever be the same again. Keep your eyes peeled, because the explosion is coming, and it will be magnificent.